Well, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey, everybody, Cantonese Cat here. This is Ethereum. It's the monthly chart. I'm going to talk a little bit about Ethereum, which is my biggest crypto position. Hopefully, this video gets no view at all. That would be the most ideal situation for my own portfolio because you really don't want to be in something that everybody's talking about. I generally don't like the euphoric sentiment. I generally don't like to chase. And certainly right now, if you still buy into Ethereum, I don't think you're chasing. I think it's still pretty far away from its previous all-time high, which is around 4,800. I think we're still pretty far away from that. Currently, there's no doubt about it. If you look at the monthly chart of Ethereum, it's been underperforming Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just been going sideways here for the last 6, 7 months. You know, looking at just the chart, you can see that, Ethereum has actually been going down a lot. But the reality is there are going to be some different times where Ethereum is going to actually outperform Bitcoin. For example, Ethereum made a little bit of a low over here, but over here it made a little bit of a higher low, whereas Bitcoin made a low over here, but ended up making a lower low over here, right? Which may be a part of the reason as to why Bitcoin actually bounced a lot harder when it bounced at the beginning of the bull cycle, when Ethereum actually did not bounce that hard. And next thing you know, it's just been underperforming. So we can look at this chart here called the Ethereum over Bitcoin ratio chart. And instead of looking at the logarithmic, I'm going to look at the linear. So this ratio, whenever this goes up, that means Ethereum is outperforming. Whenever it goes down, that means Bitcoin's outperforming. Currently, over the last 2.5 years, Bitcoin has outperformed Ethereum. And it's just been a vicious downtrend for Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin, right? And it really has started to get a lot more Bitcoin maxis to be very euphoric. I've started to see a lot of trash talking from the Bitcoin maxis saying like, you think the flippening's happening? That's silly. I don't necessarily think that the flippening's happening. I just think that there's maybe potentially a little bit more upside for Ethereum than Bitcoin moving forward. And I am continuing to be a buyer of Ethereum. I have been for a very long time. And I still have more Bitcoin than I have for Ethereum when it comes to like the pure dollar cost. But just look at current area right now. I think we're at support for the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. If you just go ahead and do a horizontal zone over here, you can see that the ratio is finding support. Is a very, very important zone that has been back tested here in 2017, back tested in 2018, back tested in 2020. Back to 2021, and right now we're just kind of getting back to that level right now. And the current monthly candle looks like a hammer, and if you take into consideration the candle before that, it looks a little bit like a tweezer bottom, right? So if we're able to close the month like this actually could be a local bottom for Ethereum over Bitcoin chart, and there's a chance that Ethereum could potentially continue to outperform Bitcoin besides just this last week or two. If you're also looking at the RSI, you can also see that there is some bullish divergence, even though the ratio continues to have plummeted down over the last year or so. You actually are building a little bit of a relative, bullish divergence, if you will. The RSI is not trending down anymore, and you are hitting a pretty critical support zone when it comes to the ratio. So as far as I'm concerned, I would not be surprised moving forward Ethereum is going to end up having a little bit of a V-shaped recovery over in 2025. Again, I don't think the flippening is happening, but I just think that Ethereum is going to, do relatively well moving forward. Just looking at this. Now, going back to the Ethereum chart by itself, I would like to go back to the log here because of how parabolic it has been. If you just look at the linear, it's not going to tell you a whole lot. First of all, just looking at this chart here, I don't think Ethereum has even hit any sorts of euphoria at all. Like nobody really wants to buy Ethereum. Part of the reason why is I think that Ethereum's fundamental has just gone to crap. Of course I don't. There is going to be always competition. There's always going to be a lot of layer ones like Solana, Avalanche. You're going to have all of these layer ones that are just going to come out of nowhere. It's going to compete with Ethereum, but the very fact is that Ethereum is still the biggest blockchain besides Bitcoin. Ethereum is the biggest blockchain that has kind of known software utility, smart contracts. Most people still program with Ethereum. Most smart contracts are still being done with Ethereum. And you really cannot have an altcoin season without Ethereum. I'm going to show you a little bit of the other altcoin charts here too, but you can't really have altcoins without Ethereum. It's going to be, I've heard of this great comparison, it's going to be like the Manhattan of crypto, where you're going to have other cities, you're going to have other places that, people can move to. They can go to Jersey, they can go anywhere, but Manhattan is still going to be Manhattan. And during COVID, there are a lot of like mass exits away from, Manhattan, right? But right now, real estate prices in Manhattan is still high. You're going to have some cyclicality to it, but I don't know if I necessarily believe in the narrative that like Ethereum has done. It just doesn't really make sense to me, right? The other things too is that you're talking about gas fees. During a bull market, everybody complains about gas fees for Ethereum. Right now, nobody's complaining about gas fees. Right now, everybody's complaining about Ethereum prices being low. And actually, not everybody, like people who actually don't even really care about Ethereum, which is actually where I want to keep buying. I still find it to be a great opportunity because there's really no euphoric sentiment. You can tell there's no euphoric sentiment because RSI still haven't really been overbought at all during this cycle. We are pretty sure that during this cycle we are out of the woods, right? But we are nowhere near any kind of euphoric sentiment. If you're looking at the overall chart for Ethereum, you're looking at for euphoric sentiment, you can look at the Bollinger Band, and whenever you have like a really euphoric bull cycle, the lower Bollinger Band is always down to like the negatives. That hasn't happened yet during this cycle. We've just been kind of going sideways and up a little bit, but there's really no euphoric sentiment here at all. Now, knowing the fact that global liquidity is coming in, knowing the fact that there most likely is going to be increased asset prices for the whole cryptocurrency market cap overall, I think Ethereum is going to be in the forefront of that. And just look at a monthly candle. It looks like a very nice tweezer bottom. And look at the current monthly candle right now is in the green. And it looks like a hammer bottom. And what it do so far? Well, basically, if you do a Fibonacci sequence, you do the all-time high over here, and you do the cycle low as 1 and 0, and you do a retracement. You look at 0.618. This is a log scale. You can see that currently that has served as, this is like the golden ratio. It's a very, very important support zone. You can see that it's currently serving as support almost perfectly, right? In addition to that, the 20-month moving average is also serving as support and is upsloping. In general, when you have the 20-month moving average going up and you're finding support, good things happen after a while, right? I mean, these are just kind of how I really look at technicals in terms of trend change. It has really flipped the 20-month moving average from resistance over here back in like July and August 2023 into support so far in August and September 2024. And this resistance flip support is actually crucial for any potential parabolic move to go up in a sustainable manner. Look at last time, whenever it flipped from resistance over here to support, things just went way up, right? So we don't have the euphoric sentiment yet. The Bollinger Band has not been expanded yet on the monthly. RSI has not been overbought. And right now we're finding support where I need to find support at. So I'm not bearish at all on Ethereum. I actually think it's still a pretty good spot to buy. Now, on top of it being a very, very good tweezer bottom over here, hammer bottom over here, 20-month moving average is a support, and also the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level as support, which is a very important golden ratio. On top of all that, you can also look at the Gann chart here. So I'm going to basically zoom out here a little bit. Just look at, I do this Gann chart using monthly, and it's 180 and 1,000 are the numbers that I'm using for the duration and also the ratio. And you just look at how nice market symmetry has been. Pretty much the every single cycle, it seems like it's just trying to break into an arc over here and got rejected, and that's when the cycle ends, right? Whenever the cycle ends, it got pretty close to the horizontal zone down here, and when that happens, you find support down here. You're trying to challenge the previous arc that you got rejected over here, previous arc that got rejected over here, and you go to the next arc, right? And the last cycle, we got rejected from the last arc over here, came back down, found support. And what we do? Well, we push through the arc that we got rejected, that back tested the arc. And right now, I think price is going to end up probably gravitate towards the next arc up here, which is going to be, the bottom arc is going to be around like maybe, depends on where it hits, right? The bottom arc is going to be around like anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000. Top of the arc is going to be anywhere from like 14,000, maybe a little bit lower, to like 10,000, depends on where it hits, right? And if we hit that arc, if we're able to break through that arc, there's potential for it to hit the horizontal zone over here, which is around 14,000. I really do think that there's a good chance for this current bull cycle to hit 14,000, just because of the Gann, and also because the fact is the 1.618 level, which is a very, very important level. So just judging by like the last cycle, if you're looking at where price landed, if you were just kind of looking at this, it didn't really land at the 1.618 here on the log scale. I think the last cycle was actually a little bit more truncated because of liquidity. So it could potentially land lower here too. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I just cannot be that bearish overall for crypto, because if you look at the M2 Global Liquidity Supply Index, you can see that currently Ethereum has actually followed the liquidity index very well, right? You see that there's a horizontal zone over here for the global liquidity index, and wherever it ends up breaking out above, Ethereum ended up having maybe a little bit of like a 6-month lag or so. But then after that, it tends to follow the increase in global liquidity and just keeps on making higher highs and higher highs, and a little bit of a higher low over here. So currently, I think we're having the same thing. You have a level over here that we have just broken above of that for the last couple of months. Ethereum's going to end up having about a little bit, maybe like a few months of lag here. So if it has a few months of lag, and if it ends up broken above around like May or June or so, you might talk about Ethereum potentially having a little bit more parabolic bull trend, starting maybe over next month, or maybe over the next month after that. And it could end up being, potential more of a parabolic going upwards. And we'll see how far it gets. I do think that the 1.618 probably will end up getting hit. If not minimally, I think the arc over here is probably going to end up minimally getting hit. And that could be anywhere from like 3x to like 5x, then that's not a bad gain at all. If it ends up hitting some of the higher targets, again, I don't think that the cycle is going to go to 77. I don't think the cycle is going to go to like, 6 digits. I think that's just absolutely crazy. But we'll see how global liquidity goes, and we'll keep following the index. We'll see whether or not there are any concerns for Ethereum based on technicals before I really start to get bearish. But right now I'm more bullish than ever, to be completely honest with you. The other thing to kind of look into too is like, when are you going to potentially take profit from Ethereum? Well, if you end up getting the Bollinger Band expansion like we did last cycle, I might end up being a little bit more cautious when the Bollinger Band is really peaking. So it's going to be around November 2021, right? That's where the peak of the Bollinger Band is. And where are we at in November 2021? Well, that was the previous all-time high, right? And if you are getting a little bit scared, you don't have to necessarily time the top. You can try to just maybe see it kind of contracts you a little bit in like December, and that would be a warning sign that might be good time to take profit if you already have a tons of profit with it, right? So that's just something to kind of consider. I would probably want to exit Ethereum potentially whenever you have the big giant Bollinger Band extension, and if it starts to kind of contract just a little tiny bit, I might end up taking profit here. And if you end up taking profit in December, the lowest you would sell was probably around 3,400, and that would not have been a bad profit if you were to bought down here. That would have been more than a 10x. So currently I am looking more at the Bollinger Band expansion to happen first, and when it does happen, I'm going to see when it actually does end up getting contracted here to monthly, and that might be the area where I might start to take profit from Ethereum. It's still early. What I'm saying may not happen. Obviously, all of this stuff that I'm saying right now is all speculation, and it may or may not happen, right? But I do want to say that even though it may or may not happen, there is a chance that it could based on previous behavior, and also this is kind of how I'm positioned in Ethereum currently, and that's my rationale. Again, if you're looking at the others chart here, the others chart is the basically the cryptocurrency market cap, total global market cap, excluding the top 10. So excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the stable coins and whatnot. And you'll see that you're finding great support here, a rising 20, just like Ethereum. And then on top of that, you also have this trend line over here where Ethereum is respecting very, very well. You basically have a breakout over here and have a little bit of back test. This is not Ethereum, this is the others chart. You have a big cup over here and a handle over here, almost like a perfect looking handle, back testing the area down here at the trend line at a rising 20, finding support. Where is it going to go? It's going to go up. Do I think Ethereum is going to go down from here because of this? No. I mean, you also just independently just look at the Ethereum chart. The Ethereum chart by itself also look like a big giant cup and handle. Like, you don't really need any fancy indicators to like really look at it. You can just kind of tell that it basically just looks like a big giant cup and handle. That's what it looks like to me, right? And we're finding some critical support. It back tested, like an angle here, and it's basically looks like it wants to go higher. Like, I don't know what else to say about Ethereum. I'm going to keep adding to Ethereum a little bit at a time, and I'm going to probably keep adding all the way up to maybe like 4,000. I still think that Ethereum is undervalued. Anyway, just a few quick thoughts on Ethereum. It might be silly, it might be all speculations, but that's where my money is being put at. This is not financial advice to you. This is just kind of me sharing with you what I'm doing. That's all. Thank you for listening. Have a good one. Bye.